by a group of subversives called the Misfits of Science.
I will be you, and you will be me.
The 1980s didn't just shape science fiction, it redefined it. Neon lights, analog dreams, and a generation convinced that technology was on the edge of something miraculous. But while Star Trek and Knight Rider stole the spotlight, an entire galaxy of shows vanished without a trace. Some were too ambitious, others too strange, and a few were simply born before their time. Today, we're unlocking the vault to rediscover 10 incredible lost 80s sci-fi shows that the world forgot existed. Shows that dared to experiment with the future, blending computers, cosmic mysteries, and human imagination in ways that modern TV still hasn't replicated. So sit back, because what you're about to see isn't nostalgia, it's resurrection. Number 10. Misfits of Science, 1985. Before the MCU ruled the world, there was Misfits of Science, a quirky NBC series that tried to bring superpowers to Saturday night television long before audiences were ready. It followed a team of oddballs with bizarre abilities, a scientist who could shrink anything, a rock star who could shoot electricity from his hands, and a man who could freeze things with his touch. Together, they weren't heroes in the classic sense, more like outcasts who stumbled into saving the day while arguing about snacks and lab mishaps. What made Misfits of Science fascinating wasn't its effects, it was its energy. It captured that rebellious 80s spirit, where every episode felt like a comic book that refused to take itself too seriously. But despite its originality and humor, the show struggled with ratings and network interference. The team never got a real ending, canceled after just one season, leaving fans hanging mid-adventure. Yet, over time, Misfits of Science became something else, a cult relic. Its campy charm, offbeat dialogue, and young cast, including a pre-Friends Courtney Cox, gave it a second life among collectors and retro TV fans. It was weird, unpredictable, and wonderfully human. A glimpse at what superhero television might have been if the 80s had just believed a little longer. Number 9. The Phoenix, 1982. The Phoenix told the story of Bennu, an ancient alien awakened in modern-day Earth after lying dormant for centuries. Played by Judson Scott, Bennu wasn't your typical sci-fi hero. He was calm, enlightened, and searching for his counterpart, Mira, the only being who could balance his power.
Can even ever imagine.
His abilities bordered on divine, telekinesis, energy manipulation, and flight. But rather than conquering or saving worlds, Bennu wandered the Earth, teaching humanity lessons about peace, power, and purpose. It was science fiction meets spirituality, bold for network TV in 1982. Inspired by Egyptian mythology and cosmic philosophy, The Phoenix explored questions about destiny, evolution, and human arrogance. But that same ambition doomed it. Audiences expecting explosions got quiet monologues about enlightenment. Ratings dipped, executives panicked, and after just 5 episodes, the series vanished into the void. No finale, no closure, just gone. Yet for those who found it, The Phoenix became unforgettable. Its haunting theme music, cryptic symbols, and mysterious tone gave it a strange gravity, like an artifact from another world. Fans still describe it as ahead of its time, a rare moment when 80s television dared to ask not just what lies beyond the stars, but what lies within us. Number 8. Beyond Westworld, 1980. Long before HBO's Westworld turned artificial intelligence into a cultural obsession, there was another version, a forgotten series that tried to continue the 1973 film's legacy. It was called Beyond Westworld, and it was supposed to be the next great television phenomenon. The premise was bold. After the events of the original movie, a rogue scientist steals the technology used to create lifelike robots and plans to replace world leaders with his own android doubles. The only man who can stop him? John Moore, the head of security for Delos Corporation.
He's a robot.
You do.
I also think
The same company that created the Westworld resort. Each episode followed Moore's desperate mission to track down these human imposters before civilization itself fell under mechanical control. It had the blueprint of greatness: conspiracy, paranoia, identity, and a dark vision of a world where you could no longer tell who was real. But the timing was a curse. Television in 1980 wasn't ready for serialized storytelling or high-concept sci-fi built around moral dread. The budget strained under elaborate effects and futuristic sets, and by the third episode, audiences were lost in confusion rather than awe. Only 5 episodes ever aired before CBS pulled the plug. The final scripts, never filmed, hinted at an apocalyptic climax, android uprisings, secret replacements in government, and a finale that would have rewritten the meaning of man versus machine. For decades, it was forgotten, until modern fans of HBO's version stumbled across its name, stunned to discover that Westworld's haunting origins had begun and died on network TV. And yet, that wasn't the only series that disappeared before it could fulfill its destiny. Because while Beyond Westworld explored machines pretending to be human, our next show followed 2 humans pretending to fix history itself. Number 7. Voyagers, 1982. It begins with a thundering crash through time, literally. Voyagers opens with a young boy in the 1980s New York, accidentally swept into the time vortex of a roguish traveler named Phineas Bogg. Armed with a mysterious device called the Omni,
December 6, 1941, Pearl Harbor, right on target.
Half compass, half cosmic gadget, they leap across centuries to fix history whenever it goes wrong. But this wasn't your average Saturday night adventure show. Voyagers mixed the magic of time travel with genuine historical storytelling. One week, they'd be saving Thomas Edison from giving up on the light bulb, the next, helping Cleopatra avoid a doomed betrayal. It was equal parts Doctor Who and Quantum Leap, but with a lighter, more human touch. A partnership between a lost boy and a man learning to care about humanity again. What made it special wasn't just the concept, it was the chemistry. John Eric Hexum, who played Bogg, carried the series with charm and wit, while Mino Palouse, as young Jeffrey, grounded the emotion. Together, they created a dynamic that felt real, funny, tender, and full of heart. Every jump through time was an emotional reset, a new chance for redemption. But behind the scenes, tragedy struck. During a break in filming, Hexum accidentally caused his own death on another TV set, a loss that shattered Hollywood and ended any chance of Voyagers returning. The series ended not with a finale, but with an abrupt silence, as if time itself had frozen in mourning. Today, Voyager stands as one of television's great what-ifs. Its mix of humor, history, and cosmic mystery could have made it a classic, even a cultural icon. Instead, it became a bittersweet relic of lost potential, remembered by those who stumbled across it on reruns, VHS tapes, or late-night nostalgia blocks. It wasn't just a show about fixing time, it became a story trapped in time. Number 6. Amazing Stories, 1985. Before Black Mirror shocked audiences and love, Death and Robots reinvented anthology storytelling. There was Amazing Stories, Steven Spielberg's ambitious attempt to turn television into a living dream machine. Each episode was a self-contained short film, mixing genres like sci-fi, fantasy, and the surreal. Some stories were uplifting, others were deeply unsettling. One week, you might see a World War II gunner haunted by the ghost of his missing turret, and the next, a man discovering that his reflection lives an entirely different life when he looks away. Spielberg brought Hollywood-grade effects to television, something that was practically unheard of in the mid-80s, and the result was mesmerizing. But buried among its whimsical tales were pure science fiction gems that many viewers completely forgot. Episodes like The Mission and Mummy, Daddy blurred the line between human imagination and cosmic mystery, combining futuristic fears with Spielberg's signature sentimentality. The show wasn't just trying to entertain, it was trying to make people feel wonder again in an era obsessed with cynicism. Yet despite its innovation, Amazing Stories struggled to find a steady audience. Some critics found it too sentimental, others too uneven. Its magic wasn't made for quick ratings. It was designed to linger, to inspire. And though it quietly faded after 2 seasons, its influence never died. Every modern sci-fi anthology, from Twilight Zone reboots to Stranger Things spin-offs, owes a quiet debt to amazing stories. Spielberg's Forgotten Experiment showed that science fiction on TV didn't need to be dark or dystopian to move people. It just needed to remind us what imagination could look like when it was still innocent. And while Spielberg dreamed in short stories, the next show on our list tried something much riskier, turning television into a full-blown digital battlefield. Number 5. Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, 1987. It was 1987, the Cold War still loomed, and kids were glued to Saturday morning cartoons.
Shouldn't give Grant something to think about? Oh, my feet are sore. Can we go home now?
But then came Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, a show that looked like a cartoon, sounded like a toy commercial, and yet felt like something darker. Set in the aftermath of a war between humans and machines, it followed Captain Jonathan Power and his elite team of soldiers battling the Biodreads, sentient robots determined to eradicate humanity. But here's the twist. This wasn't just a TV show, it was interactive. Viewers could actually buy special toys equipped with infrared sensors that fired back at the screen during battle scenes. Every child's laser shot registered hits and misses, a fusion of storytelling and technology that was decades ahead of its time. But Captain Power wasn't just flashy. Beneath its metallic armor and laser blasts, it carried a surprisingly heavy message. Episodes dealt with loss, guilt, and survival, topics most children's shows avoided. It dared to portray a world scarred by war, where victory came with sacrifice. One infamous episode even ended with the heartbreaking death of a main character. Critics didn't know what to make of it. Was it for kids? For adults? For tech enthusiasts? The confusion doomed it. After one season, production costs skyrocketed and sponsors pulled out. The final episode ended on a devastating cliffhanger. The heroes broken, the war unresolved, and viewers left wondering what would have happened next, which is the next show on our list. A sci-fi show that took viewers somewhere far stranger, into the cold, lonely void of space where the law still needed to be enforced. Number 4. Star Cops, 1987. It didn't have aliens, laser battles, or space empires, and that's exactly what made Star Cops so daring.
Yeah, you know who said that?
This British cult series imagined the near future not as a fantasy, but as a bureaucratic reality, where crime, corruption, and human greed had simply followed humanity into orbit. Set in the year 2027, Star Cops followed Nathan Spring, the pragmatic leader of the International Space Police Force, an agency tasked with solving crimes on lunar bases, orbital stations, and spacecraft scattered across the solar system. But unlike other sci-fi shows of the decade, Star Cops grounded itself in realism. There were no warp drives or alien invasions, only people trying to survive in zero gravity while politics, power, and money poisoned even the stars. Its tone was dark, smart, and deeply human. Each episode explored how fragile morality becomes when civilization drifts off the planet. Smuggling, sabotage, espionage, even murder, all playing out against the endless silence of space. But that same realism worked against it. Audiences expecting Star Wars-style escapism were confused. BBC executives had no idea how to market it. Critics didn't know if it was a cop show or a science fiction drama, and yet, Star Cops has aged like fine wine. Its themes, privatized space travel, political manipulation, and AI-driven policing, feel eerily prophetic today. Despite lasting only 9 episodes, it developed a passionate cult following, inspiring radio plays and fan revivals decades later. It wasn't glossy, it wasn't glamorous, but Star Cops captured something no other show did: the haunting truth that humanity can escape Earth, but it can never escape itself. Number 3. Max Headroom, 1987. Before anyone had heard of AI influencers, digital avatars, or deepfakes,
That's how much the government are spending on Trident missiles.
There was Max Headroom, television's first artificial celebrity. A computer-generated TV host with a glitching grin, stuttering speech, and endless sarcasm, Max was part machine, part man, and all attitude. The show's world was a corporate dystopia where television networks ruled society, news was manufactured, and attention was currency. Edison Carter, a rebellious journalist, uncovered corruption through his investigative reports until a near-fatal crash left his mind digitized inside a computer. That digital consciousness became Max Headroom, a rogue AI version of Edison with his memories, wit, and anarchic sense of humor. Together, the man and his machine self fought against a system built on lies and manipulation. It was brilliant, way ahead of its time. The show predicted viral media, algorithmic control, and the obsession with virtual fame decades before the internet even existed. Every frame dripped with 80s cyberpunk energy, flickering neon, distorted broadcasts, and a world that looked frighteningly close to our present reality. But it wasn't just social commentary. It was rebellion disguised as entertainment. Max mocked the networks that aired him, exposed their greed, and ridiculed the viewers who let themselves be programmed. It was too smart, too cynical, and too true for mainstream television. The network didn't know whether to market it as sci-fi, comedy, or satire, and within 2 seasons, it was gone. Still, Max Headroom never really disappeared. His face, frozen in digital laughter, became an icon of the era, appearing in commercials, music videos, and even academic essays about the future of media. Today, he feels less like a relic and more like a prophecy. Number 2, Otherworld, 1985. Some shows burn bright and fast, like a shooting star that vanishes before anyone knows it existed.
Answer that which no man knows.
Is that what you told Al?
Otherworld was one of those. It began with a simple idea. A family on vacation in Egypt stumbles into a mysterious pyramid during a rare planetary alignment, and suddenly, they're pulled through a dimensional rift into a parallel world. But this wasn't a world of aliens or monsters. It was an eerily familiar version of Earth, twisted, ruled by a totalitarian regime, and divided into strange provinces, each with its own laws, cultures, and dangers. Think of it as the Twilight Zone blended with the Odyssey, following the Sterling family as they tried to find their way back home, one bizarre land at a time. Each episode introduced something new. A society where people's lives were programmed by a central computer, a zone where everyone was forced to worship beauty, and another where rebellion simmered under the surface. The show didn't just tell stories, it built worlds, using science fiction as a mirror to expose the absurdity of human behavior. But for all its ambition, Otherworld never had a chance. NBC scheduled it against Dallas, one of the biggest TV hits of the decade. Ratings plummeted, executives lost faith, and after just 8 episodes, the adventure ended mid-journey. No finale, no closure, just a mysterious fade-out. Number 1. Automan, 1983. Before Tron, before The Matrix, there was Automan, television's first attempt to bring a fully digital superhero to life, and it was spectacularly weird. The show followed Walter Nebusher, a mild-mannered computer programmer for the LAPD who dreamed of becoming a real detective. His solution? Create one. Literally.
Walter, tengo noticias urgentes.
Using advanced coding and artificial intelligence, he builds Automan, a glowing humanoid program who can step out of the computer and into the real world. Draped in blue neon and fueled by logic, Automan was part superhero, part hologram, capable of generating vehicles, weapons, and entire environments with just a flicker of light. The special effects were jaw-dropping for 1983. Using pioneering techniques similar to Tron, Automan's shimmering suit and light trail car stunned audiences. But the show's charm came from its chemistry. Walter and Automan were like mismatched partners from different realities, one driven by heart, the other by code. Their adventures blended comedy, crime-solving, and mind-bending science fiction into something that felt truly new. Unfortunately, innovation comes at a price. Each episode cost nearly double a standard network show, and ABC wasn't ready to bankroll a digital revolution. With low ratings and high production costs, Automan was canceled after just 12 episodes. But it didn't die. It transcended. Decades later, tech historians and sci-fi fans still talk about it as the moment when television tried to merge the human and the virtual. Before CGI heroes filled our screens, there was Automan, glowing, smiling, and running on pure imagination. It wasn't perfect, but it was fearless. A neon dream from an age when computers were still magic. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these lost 80s sci-fi worlds would you bring back if you could? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, like this video, share it with your fellow retro fans, and subscribe to Vintiverse for more hidden gems from the vaults of forgotten cinema and television.